welcome to Coffee Conversations. I'm Anna, and today we have...
I'm Greg.
Yay! We're so glad, Greg, for you to join us this week. It's exciting. Josh is in Guatemala right now, and so this week we get to have Greg, which is very exciting.
Yes, everyone was excited for me to be on the show, so I'm glad to be here.
Special guest appearance. It's great. Yes. Hey, so we continued in our series on Radio Jesus, and I feel like, Greg, you are the right person to talk about this. Tell us your experience about music, and how has music impacted your faith or their particular artist?
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it really is a privilege to help lead worship every week in the modern service, and I love doing it. I grew up in a household with a preacher father who played piano and sang and guitar, and a choir director mother who taught piano, taught voice, still does, and she led the choirs usually at our churches. So dad would be the preacher, mom's the choir director. That's the environment I was raised in. So it was hard not to be musical. Mom made me and my two sisters take piano lessons for at least 5 years when we were young. So we started out on piano, whether we liked it or not. And fortunately, all three of us liked it. Melody, the middle child, became really proficient on piano and organ, and she can sight read and lead a choir from the keys, which is a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
Stephanie became more of a dancer and a singer, and she still plays a little bit. I switched to guitar, and it just kind of went from there. So hymns were the first things, and then musicals. Mom and Dad did a lot of theater, so I got to go and be backstage. And I remember a machine that was, you could put a nickel in and get a Coke in a little bottle back in the ancient times.
Yeah,
And so
wow.
that was music to my ears. And then I went into a lot of summer camps and started learning how to play folk songs and camp songs, and leading with the guitar became very sort of common for me, and it was something I really liked doing. And then formed a rock band in high school and with some of my buddies, and got to play a lot with them, and still do, you know,
Yeah.
on occasion. And then the church music was just all in it the whole time, whether I was in the choir or the bell choir. Mom used to lead bell choirs and travel all over the state, and especially to Disney.
Oh.
She would play in the lobby of the Grand Floridian, and we all got free
A
tickets.
dream.
Hey, one little story about that. It's not music, but I'm walking in to go see her and to hang out in the park for a little while one evening at Christmas time, and they were roasting chestnuts outside. And I was so excited because, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open. So it was a song.
Absolutely,
Right?
yes.
It is a song. And I was really excited to taste them, and they were horrible. I mean, they were just
so
horrible. I was like, ugh. So I need some almonds roasting in my latte or something.
There
you
you
know?
go.
So anyway, that was the beginning, and then it's just been continuous. And so when my family gets together, often we just sing, and Mom loves that. And it's all everything from show tunes to camp songs to hymns to you name it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's in the blood.
Yeah, for sure. Well, has U2 been a band that you know or that you like or have experienced? You ever seen them live?
I have seen them live. I saw them in Tampa with a bunch of friends. We
wow.
actually rented a limo and went over there all the way to Tampa. And I thought we were privileged till we came out, and there were like 50 limos waiting for people. So it was hard to find our limo.
Right,
you know.
absolutely.
But it was a blast. It was on the which tour I can't even remember. But "Beautiful Day" was the opening song, and it was fantastic. I've always liked that band ever since the beginning, and always thought they had a great calling to do songs of substance that make you think. And some of them sounded like gospel songs to me, and they didn't have to. I was fine with whatever secular thing they want to do. But the fact is, they sing songs that I think can really inspire, like the one we did Sunday. Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For has always been one of those songs that has inspired me and made me think. So I love that band. They're great, and they've stayed together, all four of them. That's been amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how many years, probably like 40 years by now.
Yeah.
Or more, and that's one of those great stories of friendship and longevity. You know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
Right.
It's a great song. If you have not gone back to watch our service, you need to hear our band do that song because it was so great. It was very good.
It was a lot of fun.
Great.
That was one of my bucket list songs, actually.
Ah,
I had
look at
never
that.
sung it live like that, or sung it at all, really. We put it together with, we have such a great band of musicians and singers, and we can do anything, and we really like taking on challenges like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about that song. Our band played it and then preached about that song, and it's one that I knew it. I don't know if I knew the lyrics as much as I have now. Like
Right.
I really like paid. I think I knew like the chorus. Like I still haven't found what I'm looking for, but there are a lot of deep theological things in there and some things that make us think and think about like
Right. Right.
I have experienced these great things, but I'm still looking, like I'm still searching, like what does that look like in
Yeah.
our lives.
Well, I really like the way you kind of wove it into it with the sermon and got into it and made the comparisons because when you have lyrics that say things like "I have my own cross" and I have that burden, it's so kind of literal but also very poetic because I'm an advocate for art being personal, right? And we all should be allowed to have that subjective experience where you don't have to feel about a song like someone else does. You can let it speak to you, and I think that's true with all art, especially music. So I like the fact that you can take it and then weave it into a sermon and make it make sense to the gospel itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a good, I don't know, a good reminder to us all. Like a lot of people, as I was looking up, like, why did they write this or what did they say about it? And just so much about this universal idea of like we're searching for meaning.
Yeah.
And that's something that everyone can connect to. And then, of course, like we can see in scripture, like we know where our meaning is as believers.
That's right.
It's in Jesus.
That's right.
And so, as we're all searching for meaning, to remind people, like, the true meaning that you're going to find is in what God has called you to and what God has said about who you are.
And it'll make you feel settled. So if you're unsettled, even though you have all the things you wanted, you can get to a point in your life where you really feel like you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish and you've solved problems, and yet you still feel unsettled. A lot of the lyrics of that song point to, I have this, I have that, I have this, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I think that points directly to the fact that the things we have here on earth are the earthly things. So it doesn't matter how many earthly things you have or how much earthly benefit you have. It's not the eternal. Jesus is the eternal. So you can only be truly satisfied, only truly feel like you found it when you find him and follow him because he's eternal and everything else is not.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard to remind myself of each day because I would like to have it all figured out, but know that in the end, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Exactly. You can feel good, but not all the way good.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, and then we talked about too, like this idea of being in the tension of the kingdom, like the already and not yet, and we've discussed that some other times and some other songs that we've done during this series, but it is a tension of figuring out like I'm in the world now, and I know ultimately God is going to redeem all that has happened. But what does that look like now as a believer in this time?
And how does that impact the people you deal with?
Right.
How do you treat them? How do you feel about them? I think is all sort of part of this order my steps, O Lord. It's if you are unsettled, if you're looking for something, you look to God and you read the scripture and you find instruction. I was raised Methodist, and part of my studies even recently reminds me that Methodist came from the word method, because Charles Wesley and John Wesley, who founded that movement, that denomination, were all about process, and they've got that from Scripture. Be compassionate, be giving, be loving, walk this way, and you will find redemption, but also you will help other people experience the kingdom. I think that was a big part of it.
Absolutely.
And still should be, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, great. What, any other thoughts or comments? I don't know. We have
Well, I don't know. I'm inspired. This music stuff really gets me thinking about lots of great parts of our faith, because you can enjoy it. It is a challenge, but you can enjoy it, and I think that's another thing, right? Music is fun, and it should be, and inspiring, and can be emotional, and should be, right? God gives us these gifts. Let's use them. And just use them collectively when we can. I love that aspect of it too. When we have the times when we really feel like we're all on the same page and we're all singing the same thing and glorifying in the same way is a cherishable moment for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, good. Well, thanks for joining me today on Coffee Conversations.
You are welcome. I loved it.
It's been a great day.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.